Dear students, grade 9. Today's lesson we are going to continue about studying about acids and base. In today's lesson we're going to talk about the pH scale and indicators. After this lesson you will be able to recognize the pH scale and understand what indicators are. Let's start. The pH scale. Before we studied about acids and bases, and we have learned and defined each of them by two different definitions. But if you have two unknown solutions or substances, and you need to identify which one is acid and which one is base, there are many ways, but first of these ways, there is the pH scale. The pH scale actually measures the acidity or alkalinity of substances. And it gives a range between 0 and 14. Can you see these different colors? So the pH scale actually is graded for graduating from 1 to 14. Okay. So from 1 to 6, this represents acid. And the pH of this acid, actually the pH represents this pH abbreviation. It represents the power of hydrogen or the concentration of hydrogen in a solution or in a substance. So if you have the pH, if you're measuring the pH and it's less than 7, this means that this solution is acidic acid. If it's more than 7, this means that this is an alkali or base. But why there are different colors? Actually, these colors represent the strength of the acid or base. So if you go that way, if you're going from 7 to 0 or 1, this means that acidity increase. And if you're going from 7 to 14, this means basicity increase. So let's recheck. If you have a base with pH 10, does that mean it's strong or weak base? If you have a substance or a base with pH 10, this means actually that it's a weak base. Do you remember when we set examples for acids and we said in your stomach there is an acid, a strong acid? Yes, that's correct. This is the HCl, hydrochloric acid, in your stomach, which helps kill the microbes in the food that you eat. So do you know what is the pH of that acid in your stomach? This acid is very strong acid and it has a pH from 1 to 2 as far as I can remember. So again, the pH actually measures the acidity or the alkalinity of a substance, and it has a range from 1 to 14, and as you can see it has various or different colors according to how strong or weak an acid or an alkali is. Here is an example of different acids and bases according to the pH scale. Okay, do you remember? Yes, this is the stomach. This is the hydrochloric acid in your stomach. Actually, it has a very strong acid because do you remember we said as we go from 7 to 1, going in that direction, acidity increase, going from 7 to 14, basicity increase. So this is the car battery here. It has an acid with pH of 0. This means it's very dangerous and strong acid. In your stomach, the hydrochloric acid in your stomach has the pH of 1. Water actually is 7. We didn't talk about 7, the number 7. why everything revolves around the number 7. We are talking about if the pH is less than 7, it's acid. If it's more than 7, it's base. But what is 7? 7 actually, this is the middle number, right? And this represents neutral. What is the meaning of the word neutral? The word neutral means it's not acid or base. Okay? At 7, the solution is not acidic or basic. It's none. So that's why it's always before 7 and after 7. But 7 is neutral. Neutral substance means it's not acidic or basic. Okay, so these are examples of very strong acids: a car battery acid and a hydrochloric acid in the stomach. Now, examples of bases: the toothpaste. Actually, there's base in the toothpaste and it's 10. So is this a weak base or a strong base? Actually, it's a weak base. Potassium hydroxide is a strong base. It has the pH of 14. This means that it is very strong base. Okay, if you have the pH paper, how can you use it to identify if this is an acid or base? There is the pH paper and there is the pH meter. The pH paper, as you can see, this is a paper which is numbered from 1 to 14 with different colors that shows the difference in the strength of acids or bases. According to these colors, you can compare between the color you have and the colors here. The pH papers actually is also a paper that when you dip it in the solution, it shows different colors, and you can compare the color that you dipped in that solution with these numbers. And when you compare them, you can tell which if it's acid or base, strong or weak, according to the number. You can compare the number on the strap with these. There is also the pH meter. The pH meter actually is very helpful and very accurate because it shows numbers. All you have to do is just, it's an electronic device that measures the acidity or alkalinity of solutions accurately because you can measure them in numbers. So actually it shows you the number. All you have to do is just add the substance and it shows you the number, and according to the number, if it's less than 7, you can tell if it's acid and if it's strong or weak according to the numbers, or likewise if it's base. There is something also called a data logger. What is a data logger? Comes when a pH sensor which will measure the change in pH value over time, connected to the computer to transfer the data and collect it. So this is another way which I think they use in more advanced labs. They just connect the pH sensor which measures the pH with the computer just to collect data. So actually there is different pH scales that we can use. There is the pH papers, which you have straps. When you put them in the solutions, they give you a color, and then you can compare the color with the pH paper to identify if it's acid or base, weak or strong. And there is the pH meter. Actually, it's more accurate because it gives you the number, and then you can tell if it's strong or weak. Okay, this was first part of our lesson about how to identify if it's acid or base. This was the first part. This video represents the first part, and it was about the pH. See you soon.